What's up, everyone? This video is for my man Rob in Canada. Rob, I appreciate you writing in. Your words mean a lot to me, and I'm grateful that something that I've offered resonates with you. I appreciate that you have Jocelyn and Melody in your life. I think that's absolutely fantastic. So, Rob, your question, and for everybody else out there who's watching, why I believe this is going to affect them as well. It's all about this. Look, we all have an impulse to say something, to react to people when people do things that kind of get to us. And when we have that impulse to snap and say things, once we do it, once we snap, once we say those things that we usually regret, we step back and we look and we say, that's not us. That's not me. That's not who I really am. Unfortunately, the reality is that people see your actions, not your intentions. So even though you don't mean to be snapping at people quickly, if you are, you are. So here's what I want to help you with. First, I want you to know that it's perfectly normal and perfectly human to have that impulse to want to snap at others. But here's what I believe about you. I believe you have the strength to sit through that uncomfortable emotion, that uncomfortable impulse, that drive to snap. I believe you have the strength to sit through that and not react. Because the more we are able to sit through that and not just react and lash out impulsively, the better we feel about ourselves later on. The emotions, whatever emotions we experience, they're going to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So our emotions are going to pass. That's a fact. That's reality. And we want to make sure that we're not doing something at the beginning or the middle of a tough emotion that leaves us with a long-term consequence that we don't really like. Or even in the case of snapping at someone that we really don't want to snap at. Because everyone in life is struggling. Everyone. When people hurt each other or they say dumb things or they say mean things, they usually do so from a place where they're struggling themselves. And I believe, to the extent that we can, it's our job to be patient with the world. The more we can discipline ourselves to be patient with others, the better we ultimately feel when we're able to make it through those tough emotional impulses to snap and don't actually snap. When we can get through those moments, we tend to feel pretty good about ourselves. And here's the great thing to know. Whatever we practice, we eventually master. So if you practice enough times not snapping out of an impulse and not lashing out at others, eventually you will master that. You will master that seemingly elusive concept of patience. The more you practice patience, the better you get at it. And here's the great thing. The world is going to give you, yes, you, Rob, the world is going to give you lots of opportunities to practice patience. And the only way you're ever really going to get good at practicing patience is if you're set up with situations where people test your patience. So here's what I'm going to do. Rob, I'm going to magically get into the world of everyone around you, and I'm going to make all of those people test you. At times, they're going to do things that really get to you. But instead of looking at it as them doing something to you, I want you to look at it as, man, Dr. Conte set this up. He's testing me. And when you look at it that way, you can say, this person's not really trying to get me. They're just doing a little test. It's kind of like exercise. Instead of exercising for your muscles, you're exercising your mind. You're exercising your ability to practice patience. And so I want you to see anyone who does anything, even remotely, that gets to you, that tries your patience. Instead of lashing out and yelling at them, I would love for you to see it as almost like I set this up intentionally, just for you. And the more you see it like that, the more you'll step back and say, wait a minute, I don't need to lash out. I don't need to call anybody names right here. Instead, I can make it through this moment because I know this is just a test that Dr. Conte set up for me. Look, all I want to do is kind of help you get through those tough moments. And I want to help everyone else out there too. There are a lot of people. Trust me, Rob, you are not alone in this. A lot of people in this world struggle with patience. And it took me a long time to get good at patience. But I can promise you that the path I took was one where I had to embrace those uncomfortable moments. I had to embrace those moments where people did things that weren't in line exactly with what I had hoped they were going to do. But at the end of the day, with 7 billion people on the planet, not everyone's going to say and do the things we want. And that's okay. That's actually giving us an opportunity to practice patience. So Rob, specifically, I definitely wish you much peace. And everyone else who's watching this video who also could benefit from working on patience, I always wish you much peace.